Hey everyone, I am Kelly Lentz and I'm a Ruby ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. And the reason I say that is because the people that are on my team, they already know that about me because I mention it often. And, but we are linking up with a fellow sister team that's also based out of Atlanta, the Atlanta area, that is headed by my friend Amy Schwan. And how this call came about is a year ago, I somehow, I think through Facebook, met Amy and her sponsor, Julia Brown. And, right, she's your sponsor, right?
Oh
Amy?
yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
right. Okay.
Yep.
And they invited me to come to a training that they were doing for their team. And my sponsors live in Raleigh. So I said, well, okay, sure. And I went and I loved, and I was a gold ambassador at the time. And I loved what they said, and I loved how they said it. And they just seemed like my kind of girls. And so since then, I have pretty much forced them to be friends with me. And when we were at Leaders Retreat just a couple weeks ago, I asked Amy if she would come on and talk to my team about how she went Emerald. And she said, sure, if you come on and tell my team how you went Ruby. And I said, okay, you got a deal. So here we are. And Amy has some things to say, and I have some things to say. They probably will overlap a little bit, maybe. But Amy, I just admire her so much because she went Emerald as a full-time teacher and social studies department head at the Christian school she teaches at. Not only does she have that full-time job going on, but she has 3 boys that are in high school that all play travel baseball. And that is like 3 full-time jobs, if I'm not mistaken. And so somehow she managed to go Emerald. And here to tell you all about that is my friend Amy Schwan.
Okay. Well, you're awesome. And just a little bit of a backstory. When Julia and I first met Kelly at the Marietta Country Club, we're doing this training, and she's like, I just want y'all to know, like, I'm gold, but what if I just want to stay gold? I'm good. And we looked at her and said, joke's on you, sister, because once you get gold, there is a momentum that takes hold within your team. And there's ebbs and flows within that. But we knew from the first moment we met Kelly, and she's not on our team, and we're really sad about that. But Kelly isn't on our team, but we knew that she had the it factor. There is something about her personality, her drive, her leadership skills that we knew gold was not it for her. And so just to give you guys a little bit of a background, I made a post tonight that kind of says it all. In December of 2014, we took our great family Christmas pictures, and I'm posting them to Facebook, and I looked at that and I was like, dang, I kind of look like crap. Like I looked at a picture of myself and I was like, huh, I'm about to turn 40. Is that what I want my story of 40 to be? And so with my heels dug in the sand and just every fiber of my being saying, no, 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 I did take some samples of the Slim Pink drink from Julia Brown, who's my sponsor, who just went diamond last month. So exciting. And from that moment forward, the story, it no longer became my story. And I think that that's really what I want to catapult into this evening with you. My drive, what fuels me every day is leading a team of tremendous men and women who are finding a greater purpose and just a better version of themselves. I use a hashtag all the time, hashtag be the best version of you, because I truly feel like it goes way beyond just taking products, but it's about embracing who are you as a mom, as a wife, as a professional, whatever industry you may be in, if you are working outside of the home. It's all of these things, and Plexus kind of is the tie that binds. And so tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about leadership. And you may be sitting here going, Amy, I just want to go silver. I want to get that first ambassador, that second ambassador on my team. But I want you to hear me when I say that the moment you make your first Plexus post, you become a leader. You have become a leader. You are leading a charge and changing the health trajectory for everyone in your audience. So what does that look like for you? It becomes this all-encompassing purpose. And I think that that's really what I want to focus on. It's that relationship building. Well, what does that mean for you? People follow you because they want to follow you. And so as you are leading this charge of people, are you sending out a message that says to people, I want to spend more time with her. I want to be like her. I want to do what she is doing. That's leading. I don't care if you have a team of 500 or if you have a team of 1. And I think when you step back from your life story, whatever you're putting on social media, whatever you are sending in text messages, are you saying to people, I want to lead you. I want to lead you by example. And trust me, we're not perfect. Y'all, I ate cake this weekend. I did. I ate 3 pieces of cake. And I'm not judging, but that's the thing. It's like, I am not going to hop on social media and take a picture of a extra large sweet tea and a piece of cake with my block. That's not really the message that I, Amy Schwan, want to send. That's not how I want to lead my team in terms of posting, in terms of sharing their health and wellness journey. So that's my first point, is that people want to be with you. They want to follow you. So what are they following? People won't go along with you if they can't get along with you. Woo, that can be so, so deep. I teach government and politics. Wrap your mind around that. Y'all, there could not be something else more polarizing in our world than government and politics. But I challenge you to go on my news feed and see if there's anything on my news feed that's going to polarize people or send people running away from me. You're not going to find it. Because as a leader, I feel like my goal is to not, I don't want to sacrifice who I truly am, but I don't want to send people running in the opposite direction of me because I feel confrontational or the message that I'm sending is confrontational. Okay. So that's another thing to you as a leader. Are people wanting to go along with you? Are you sending a message that people want to get along with you? Okay. Kelly's going to talk a little bit about attraction marketing, but I'm a huge, huge fan of that. And when you look at the different levels of leadership, I have a rank. I have a rank it's kind of impressive. I mean, I'm an emerald. I have a Lexus in my driveway. I've gone to Hawaii twice because of the benefits of Plexus. I have a phenomenal paycheck every month because of Plexus. But that's only going to take me so far. If I'm going to sit back and rest on that because I have a rank or a title, I'm missing something. It's that relationship building. If I'm managing a team, that's one thing. But if I'm leading a team, I'm creating momentum. Okay. So what are you doing? If you have 2 ambassadors on your team, if you have 200 ambassadors on your team, are you managing them? This is a rhetorical question. Are you managing them or are you creating momentum? Is what you're doing inspiring people to become more and be more? And that all goes back to my original hashtag that I started with in February of 2014, hashtag be the best version of you. Am I inspiring people to be the best versions of themselves? I was listening to a John Maxwell talk, and I loved this, that he talked about earning your diploma. So when you get a diploma from high school or from college, that kind of is that symbol, and you're like, I did it. But what steps did you take to get to that diploma? That diploma is only a symbol of your success, but your daily activity got you to the point that created that end result, that end diploma. And so I want us to stop thinking about when I get there, if I get there, but how I'm getting there. And so that daily activity that you are taking part in, that is leading your team. So, for instance, if you go for a week and you are not hopping on your team pages, if you're not engaging in a team call, if you are not posting about plexus or gut health or something of the like on your page, you are not leading your team. And Julia Brown and I always talk about this. The baby ducks are going to follow the mama. If you are not showing up and doing and producing, what would then your team look at you and go, well, she's not doing it, so I'm not going to do it. Okay? It's kind of a game of follow the leader. Eventually, the babies are going to get their wings and they're going to go. But if you are not leading them along the path with your behaviors and your daily activities, they're not going to follow you. That's leadership. John Maxwell talks about being a travel agent. If you're a travel agent and you're sending your customers on a trip you've never been, guess what? You're not a very good travel agent. So I would really encourage all of you, if you're going to lead a team, if you're going to lead one ambassador or 80, not only do you talk the talk, but you've got to walk it. And I know that I'm preaching to the choir for all of you guys that are on the call tonight, but this is where it starts. It's sending things to your team to help them grow. It's posting in a way that you want them to post. It's modeling certain behaviors. I think that that's huge. Another very important key to leadership is your attitude. But I'm going to caution you here. Attitude is not everything, but it's big. And your attitude radiates. So as we have a day today where we have a new computer system launching, what attitude are you sending out to your team? I don't know about you, but I'm sending out a lot of excitement that this is a huge opportunity for us. We've now got PayPal. We've got some tremendous new user-friendly features. So I'm not going to gripe because I couldn't get on a couple of times. I'm just going to be really pumped up that our company is taking care of business. So your attitude is going to radiate that. Also, in terms of your attitude as a leader, as a troubleshooter, right? We're in health and wellness. You're going to have people with die-off, with issues, possibly with a shipping problem. How are you going to respond to that? Are you going to do it with love and grace and gratitude? Your attitude and how you respond to conflicts, to setbacks, to criticism is going to be a huge influence on the culture of your team. And we talk all the time, Julia and Betsy Wood and I, we talk about the culture of the team that we have created. And we're very proud of that because the culture is one of positivity and grace. And so within that, we don't stand for a lot of negativity on the team pages. I'm going to be honest with you, because negativity breeds negativity. Okay. So I would encourage you, if you've got those Debbie Downers and negative Nellies, that's a great time for you to privately reach out to those people and start building a relationship, because my guess is the number one issue with that person is they're not feeling connected and they don't have a relationship that's being built. We are in the business of network marketing, relationship marketing, and that is going to be paramount to everything else that we do. We've got phenomenal products, but if people don't feel plugged in, looped in, have that go-to person, it's going to breed some negativity within your team. So attitude isn't everything, but it sure can be a difference maker. One of the biggest things that I have learned within this business is to realize what my weaknesses are and to work on those weaknesses. And what I would encourage you to do is, as you grow teams, as you become more looped in with your team pages, find people who are better than you. Y'all hear me on that? That's really hard to admit. I'm not the best at something. And so I need to find that person who is way better than I am. Because what's going to make your job in leading your team that much easier is to realize who you have within your tribe. Find your tribe and love them hard. I have said that for 2.5 years now, because you can't do it all by yourself. I'm a department chair. I'm the only female living in my family. Y'all, I am a control freak. I realized once I got to Senior Ruby, that wasn't going to work for me. I could not control my team. All the different personalities, the different goals, I had to realize my team was going to kind of gain a mind of its own, and I had to rely on the other leaders within my team to link arms with them. It was a weakness for me, truly a weakness for me. But I'm telling you what, it's a beautiful thing. This past month, I realized when my team grew so exponentially, and I'm like, I have level 3s, and like, I need to be friends with them on Facebook, and I don't know their names. And I felt like I was kind of spiraling out of control. And then Julia and Betsy said to me, Amy, that's when you got to pat yourself on the back, because your team is growing. Your leaders are growing, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing. So if you're a control freak, like I sometimes am, you have to let go. You have to let go, because at the end of the day, we're all entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs run their businesses in their own ways. We can guide, we can enable people, we can give tools, but at the end of the day, don't be controlling. Okay, I'm looking at my time, Kelly, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have like 3 more pages, but I'm gonna, okay. So we have all had those moments in our businesses. I don't care if you're silver, not yet silver, gold, senior gold, ruby, where you sit back and you look at your business and you go, I just feel so stuck. What I would encourage you to do is think about your business in terms of the 4 seasons. So look back at the past 3 months. If in the past 3 months, your business has not grown and transformed the way you did, or the way that you hoped that it would, do something different. Maybe you're the problem. I say that because guess what, guys? I did that. I got back from Hawaii, and I said to my husband, I said, I've got to switch things up. I've got to do 1, 2, and 3. And guess what? I did 1, 2, and 3. And we had a heck of a month last month, because I went back to doing what I had done 6 months prior that was bringing about tremendous success for my team. So it's that kind of step back and reevaluate as a leader what was working. You know, if in the beginning stages of your business, you got to gold really quickly, go back. What were you doing? Were you sending out samples? Were you sending out messages? Were you putting things on Facebook differently? What were you doing? Did you get comfortable with where you were? Because here's the phrase. If you're going to keep doing that, you're camping in complacency. Camping in complacency. And here's the deal. It gets really, really uncomfortable when we feel pressure. But you know what? Pressure promotes us. Where does pressure come from? Pressure comes from that seasons of obedience to your character, right? Not asking you to sacrifice your character, but at some point you have to say to yourself, every time there was pressure, you have to focus on what then pushed you to the next level. Sarah Robbins, who is with another network marketing company, but Sarah Rockin' Robbins, she wrote the book called Rock Your Network Marketing Business or something like that. Like crazy, crazy good book. But she equated her business to the story of Moses. Well, I don't care what religion, faith, whatever you ascribe to. The story of Moses, it's history. I'm a history teacher, so work with me for a second here. Moses was called to lead the Israelites out of slavery to the land of milk and honey. And every time they faced pressure and adversity, what happened? God provided. Okay. So I'm going to tell you that every time you feel like my business is stalled, it's not working, my team isn't responding, my team's not getting on calls, I want you to think about what the Israelites wanted to do. They wanted to go back to the way it was. The way it was. Well, I want you to think about your why. Your why is bigger than the way it was. Okay. So even if that's $100 extra a month for your family, $500 extra a month for your family, or $3,000 extra a month for your family, or where I am, which is a lot more than $3,000 extra a month for your family. Every day that I have the frustration or the roadblocks or the grumbling, the complaining, the murmuring, the bad self-talk, I have to think, really? Girl, you need to find your some Moses. Just get you some Moses and lead. Whether it's leading myself, leading my family, leading my team, because sisters and brothers, if you're on there, I don't want to go back to the way it was. And that picture that I posted of myself today on my Facebook wall, you couldn't pay me all the money in the world to go back to that. Even if I never made another dime. I have found me. And I pray every day that I have led a whole lot of other men and women to find them, to find themselves, the hashtag be the best version of you. So I had a lot more. I'm going to stop it right there. Kelly Lentz, and I'm going to pass the torch to you, sister, because you have so much amazingness to share. So hit it, sister.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Amy. That was like literally the perfect segue, I feel like, into what I really want to talk about. I feel like you just talked about the big picture as far as leading a whole team. And my team is still a pretty young team. And we are focusing on getting past those roadblocks and those obstacles. And when you talk about your why, I can't stress enough how important having a strong, why are you doing this? And my why is, just to give you a little background about me, my family, we make our living as actors, which is maybe the most unstable career you could possibly ever find aside from like music. And, you know, there's times when we get a job and then we don't get another job for a year. So we're always budgeting and making sure we have enough to go around. And, you know, in my 20s, that was glamorous and romantic. And in my 30s, I could handle it. But in my 40s, you know, I just kind of freaking want a nice car. And I would like to be able to retire and not have to work until I die. And I don't want to have to depend on Hollywood to pay my bills anymore. And so Plexus came along for me at the perfect time to supplement my income. And even though at the beginning, when I first joined Plexus, I had zero interest in the business side of it because, you know, I'll be honest, I thought I was too good for it. I'm an artist. I play pretend for a living. I don't sell things except for myself and my children's souls to Hollywood. But anyway, I got over that really quickly when these products made such a difference in my life. They changed my health so drastically that I couldn't stop talking about it. And that resulted in some people joining and trying the products. And that resulted in a paycheck the first month that I was a Plexus ambassador, that I was like, where did this money come from? And I was like, honey, I think I accidentally embezzled from the company. And I began to realize that this might have been not only the answer to my health prayer, but my financial prayer. And so I got really intentional. But there are roadblocks and there are excuses that we all make that keep us, that have us going back like the Israelites, wanting to go back to slavery, wanting to go back to how it was. And I have 3 of them I want to talk about. And the first one is comparing your rank up journey to anybody else's. And as a sub point, attrition woe. Okay. So I joined Plexus at the end of May in 2016. And I went silver in June. I went gold in August. And I went senior gold in October. Okay. So, and I pretty much did that all by myself. And that, I thought that was pretty fast, I thought. And I literally remember saying to my family, you guys, I can't be certain, but I think I'm the second coming of Celeste Quinn. I don't know, maybe. And I thought I was going to be one of those people that ranked up to Emerald in like 9 weeks. Well, that didn't happen, guys. I didn't rank in 9 weeks. In fact, it took me 9 months from the time I went senior gold to get to ruby. That was really frustrating for me. And maybe you're sitting at silver right now and it's taking you forever to get to gold. It's really the same thing. And I was having attrition and people were quitting and people wanted to lose 50 pounds in 5 minutes. And so they were like, I'm done with this. And there were white lines everywhere that like literally made my OCD go crazy. And I was kind of frustrated. And so how did I solve that? Why did I keep going? Well, for one, because I had a really strong why. I want to retire someday and have the money to not be a burden to my children and to be able to pay for their weddings and maybe their graduate school. And this is the only way I see that I think I can do that. So something in my gut said, keep going. And when I thought about it, senior gold, you're making about $2,000 a month. That's nothing to sneeze at. So I started to focus on the fact that a year before that, I was senior nothing. I hadn't even heard of Plexus. And now I was senior gold. So it stands to reason that if in a year I was senior gold, that in another year, if I kept doing the work, I would be further down the path and I would not regret it. And also I stopped focusing on the white lines and I started focusing on the blue lines. Because there were people that I was helping. There were people messaging me saying, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. And I've lost 35 pounds just in time for my son's wedding and all kinds of great stuff. So I decided to focus on that. And that even if I only ever was senior gold for the rest of my life, that it was worth it. Okay. So that is how I beat that excuse. The second one that really derails a lot of people is I can't work my Plexus business because blah, blah, blah. Because I'm just too busy. Because I'm working full time. And my all-time favorite, things are just crazy. Things are just cray-cray right now. Okay? Well, you know what? Things are cray-cray all the dang time. There will never be a time, if you're an American mom, that it will not be cray-cray. Okay. So, and if you think you have a really good reason for why you can't do this because it's too cray-cray, I have a better one. And it's called, I had to move to Budapest for 6 months. Budapest is in Hungary. That's like around the world. My son landed a television show that shot there. And he had to have a guardian and I was it. So I remember before we left thinking, oh no, what am I going to do? I guess I guess I'll just put this on hold. I guess I'll just coast because there is no plexus in Hungary yet. And how am I going to do this? And I'll just hope that there's not attrition, and maybe some people on my team will start like picking up the slack and I just won't go backward. Well, then I got over there and I very quickly realized that the only difference between working my Plexus business on my phone and on my computer in the United States of America and working a Plexus business on my phone and a computer in Budapest, Hungary, was a 6-hour time difference. That's it. And maybe a little bit more spotty Wi-Fi, depending on where I was. It really was the same thing. I could do all the same things from there. And not only that, I had every hair and makeup person and almost all the production assistants on the pink drink. Because if there is any demographic of human being that needs the pink drink, it is the crew of a film and television set who are working 16, 17 hours a day, okay? So they all loved it. And when I would come home to visit, I literally would order like 10 bags of pink drink and bring it back with me to give to them. And I still have people that I'm shipping over there to right now. So when Plexus opens in Europe, like I'm gonna open Hungary, okay? So not only that, but I actually had more time to work my business over there because I had nothing else to do. All I was responsible for was making sure my son was alive, fed, knew his lines, and was on set. And other than that, I had no value, okay? So what did I do? I'm also writing a book right now. That's a huge goal of mine and also part of my why. So I would spend the mornings writing, and I would spend the afternoons and into the evenings working on my Plexus business. And I would offer samples, and if people wanted one, I would have my husband send it. I was running 30-day pink drink trials from over there. I was doing Zoom calls sometimes at 1 and 2 in the morning for my team because that's when they could get on. I have part of my team is in California, so there would be times where at 7 in the morning, I would be messaging them and they would be going to bed and I would be getting up. I just didn't let it stop me. And so in July of 2017, in my little flat on Lazar Utsa number 7 off Boise Zelinsky Drive, I went Ruby. And I'm going to make a prediction. I'm a little hesitant to do this, but when we go back for season 2, I'm going to predict that I'm going to go Emerald from the same exact place. So I didn't let that get in my way. The third thing that threatened to derail me, and oh, by the way, getting back to reason number 1, I went Ruby in July. In fact, if you're really bored, you can go to my Plexus Makes Perfect YouTube page, and I created a music video to the soundtrack of Pirates of the Caribbean of the last 36 hours of me trying to go Ruby and what I had to do, because I literally had to kill myself, resurrect myself so I could kill myself again, okay, to go Ruby. So if you're bored, watch that. But I fell back in August. I did not go Ruby again in August. I did not go Ruby again in September. Irritating, yes. But again, I was further along than I was before. And in October, I finally got back to Ruby. And yeah, I mean, my sponsors were saying, oh, Ruby to Senior Ruby is the easiest jump. I did it in 2 months. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna. You know, it's going to take me 4 months, maybe 5 months. But I'm not going to let that, I'm not going back to Egypt, guys. Not doing it. Okay, so the third thing is, I don't have any more people to talk to. I've already talked to everybody. My network is shot. Either I've talked to them about it, they're taking it already, they took it and quit. I don't know what to do. I guess this was fun while it lasted, but I'll just ride off into the sunset. That's kind of how I felt when I came home. But once again, my why saved the dang day. And I'm like, what do I need to do? I need to do something different. just like Amy said. And what I had not been doing up until this point is talking to strangers, to people that I didn't know. So I actually had a conversation with her one day on Facebook when I was bothering her, as I tend to do. And I said, do you use LinkedIn? Like, does anybody use LinkedIn? And there's a Bob Heilig training that's about using LinkedIn. And I'm thinking about maybe doing that. She's like, oh, no, don't do that. Here, do this. And she sent me a video that is all about using Facebook groups to expand your network. It's a great video. And we can post that on our team pages after this if you want to watch it. I did that. I did exactly what it told me to do. And in the last month or so, I've added 30 or 40 Facebook friends that were complete strangers that I now have relationships with. Am I talking to them about Plexus yet? Heck no. No, I barely know them. But I'm planting seeds now through my consistent Facebook posting. And to me, I don't think you have to post about Plexus every day. I post twice a week, every week. Sometimes they're not as obvious as others. But to me, that's what I feel comfortable with. I might need to change that up at some point when I'm like really ready to go emerald. I don't know. But for now, that's what I'm doing. So I expanded my network through Facebook groups. And then one of my level ones, Carrie, who's on this call tonight, said, hey, do you want to do this vendor sale with me? Like, do you want to do a booth? And I'm like, why, yes. Why, yes, I think I do. So just last weekend, we set up a booth. It literally was like the cutest thing you'd ever want to see at this vendor sale. And unfortunately, the vendor sale was literally like the worst vendor sale you could ever possibly imagine. Like the number of people that attended was 0. Okay. Like, I don't know where they marketed it to, but like there were no humans that actually came to purchase things at this thing. So we could have sat there and been like, oh, well, we tried. I guess this was just a dumb idea. Or we could do what we did, which is we got out a tray, we put some pink drink on the tray, and we went around to the vendors and was like, you need some pink drink. And they were like, what's the pink drink? Well, we had 10 of those vendors sign up for a 7-day pink drink trial that we ran. 10 people. And then we added a few more of our personal people. And several of them are ordering and continuing on. Do I care if they were people attending the thing or if they were vendors? No, I do not. And we're going to do another one this month. And if the same thing happens again, we will employ the same strategy, okay? Because everybody needs the pink drink, vendors and customers alike. So if your network is done, find other stuff to do. I just gave you 2 ideas. Another thing I did, went to the premiere of The Walking Dead because my son is on the show right now. And coming back from LA, not only did I share a Plexus with my Uber driver, but I shared it with my 2 seatmates. And it came up supernaturally. It wasn't like I shoehorned it into the conversation. They just asked what I did for a living. And I used to say, oh, I'm an actor. And that like would always open up a huge conversation. But now I'm like, I work for a health and wellness company that keeps people from being fat, depressed, and tired. And they were like, well, I'm all 3. And I'm like, then I have something for you. So that hasn't panned out totally, but I think one person is going to do a trial. But anyway, my point is that if you want to use that as an excuse, you can. If you want to use the excuse, I'm just too crazy, you could. If you want to say, it's just not working for me, everybody else is ranking up, but I'm not, you could. But then you might miss out on what is happening for me, which is a year ago. If I had a team call and like 2 or 3 people got on, I was ecstatic. I was like, I am running the company right now, okay? Now a year later, I'm doing a call and there's almost 30 people on. Had I let any of those 3 excuses get in my way, I'd be missing out on this, right? I'd be missing out on the fact that I'm making over $3,000 a month now, which is a game changer for my family. And I have not had to worry about finances since I became a Plexus ambassador. I'd be missing out on that. I'd be missing out on some really cool friendships. So if your journey is taking a little longer than you like, maybe some of the issues that Amy mentioned apply to you. Maybe maybe your leadership level is at a 5 and you can only attract 4s, 3s, 2s, and 1s. And you need to work on getting your leadership abilities up to a 6, 7, 8, 9, right? Because as John Maxwell says, no one who's a 9 wakes up and says, I really want to find a 5 to follow today. Nobody says that, right? You've got to work on becoming a 9 or a 10. But if you do that, and if you're doing the work every single day, you will be further along on November 6th, 2018 than you are today. And I always think about it like this. If you live in Maine and you get on 95 South, eventually you're going to drive into Miami. Somebody else might drive a little faster than you to Miami. But if you keep moving forward, eventually you will get there. And the only way that you won't get there is if you take an exit ramp or you just stop driving altogether, right? So I decided in June of 2016 that I was going to hop on the yellow brick road and I was going to keep skipping because eventually it's going to lead to Emerald City. That's all I have.
Oh my God. It's so good. It's so good. So good.
So we have 15 minutes left. If anyone has any questions, right? Is that what we're supposed to do? Questions?
Yeah, questions. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, we got nothing on back office. It's going to be amazing and they're working. So we don't have any more insight than what you guys have already gotten from the Jewel leaders on that. So
except for the fact that because I didn't know this and you just told me that they added a ton of servers today.
Yes,
to handle
correct.
The volume. And I just was on the site and it is moving a little quicker.
Yes, it's coming. And the good thing is that all the IT work is in-house, so they don't have to wait for anybody to show up from a third party. So it is tremendous. All of the previews that we got were really, really amazing. So y'all are in for a treat. But any other content questions for Kelly or myself tonight? She's way funnier than I am. I'm sorry, my team. Just don't be. That's all I got.
I have everybody muted, but if you want to say something, raise your hand and I'll unmute you. Do you know how to do that?
I think or they can unmute themselves too.
Or I'll just unmute everybody. Everybody's unmuted.
And if you've got barking dogs or loud kids, you can mute yourself. Anybody? Ooh. We might need to mute them, Kelly.
Okay. Hang on, I gotta unmute Amy now.
And they can, they can unmute if they want to ask. Anybody?
We've rendered them speechless. It frequently happens in my household.
Well, and that's good too.
All right. Oh, you know what I want to know though? I have a question. You said you had to do something different and you came home from Hawaii and you were like, I've got to do 1, 2, and 3. I kind of would like to know what 1, 2, and 3 was.
Yeah. So I don't even know if it was 1, 2, or 3, but all that I know is that I had kind of surrendered my leadership to the larger team pages. And I had neglected the culture of my team. And that was something that I came back from Maui and felt like I needed to bring my babies back together. And I feel like what I had created along with Corey Kozak was this team culture that it was us. And that needed to be rekindled. So I did that. I restarted my team calls. I had given up my team calls for the larger team calls because I didn't want to burden my team with another night and another this and another that. And I thought, you know what? they're going to hop on with what they need to hop on with. And that was another big turning point for our team. And then in the spirit of me being a teacher, I feel like what God has kind of laid before me is the ability to instruct and to teach. And I had let go of some of that. I had, in the early stages, created a YouTube channel, done lots of videos and trainings, and I let that go, and I've rekindled that. So, and my points, obviously I had 2 people in my upline who are pushing to diamond last month. So that created some huge momentum for our team. But I feel like building the culture of your team is tremendous for growing. And I felt like once I had rekindled that, it was huge. And I had let that go. And I think that was a momentum squisher that then I came back and I'm like, dang it, John Maxwell, you're right. True leaders don't manage. They build momentum. And that's truly what we have done in the last, I would say, 60 days. So.
And when do you think that you started doing that? Like, because if a lot of my people have smaller teams, how many people do you need to start fostering your own team culture?
So we started the team page the month that I went gold and Corey went senior gold. But it worked for us because we were running buddies together. And I don't have a ton of people on my team that have their own team pages, but I would typically say senior gold to Ruby is a great time to really start that, to start that team culture and that team building. And it might not even be a team page. It might just be a thread, a message thread of leaders on your team, but getting them linked together and to be friends with each other, to be talking with each other, to be running buddies with each other. I have a couple of gals that I'm really trying to pull together to run for their next promotions. And I think that is really what fueled Corey and I to go so quickly, is that we linked arms with each other and we're like, we're going. And what I lacked in skills, she brought to the table, and it was perfect. It created a great culture for us. So, and Corey is my level 1. So, I mean, I wouldn't do that with a sideline. I wouldn't do a team page with a sideline. But if you have, somebody on your team that is, right there running alongside you, that could be a great thing to pull together. Since that time, Corey now has a separate team page, but she is still viewed as a leader and admin on the original page that we started together.
Oh, wait, let me get this straight. Corey is your level 1, but she went senior gold before you went gold?
No, I was senior gold and she was gold.
Oh, okay. All right.
I might have misspoke.
Okay. I mean, but that does happen, actually.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I invite all of my team to outrank me.
Yeah. Hello.
Go for it.
So.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm not averse to ending early if no one has anything else they want to ask. Amy?
And I've enjoyed partnering. This is a great crew. Good topics.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming on, Amy.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. This is the first time I've done that, and I really want to try to do this once a month with people that are farther down the path than we are, because that is the best way to figure out where you want to go, is to find out how someone else got there and do what they do.
I love it. Duplication is key. Don't reinvent the wheel, people.
Got it.
So.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And don't go back to Egypt. Head to Emerald City.
Awesome. And send me the recording, Kelly.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
All right. Good night,
Bye-bye.
y'all.